if you're not yet using log files, if you're not yet analyzing them, make sure you start doing it. Just by starting, it's not that complicated. It looks like a lot. It looks like something only technical SEOs can do, but it's really not. Maybe you'll need some help setting it up at the first time, but there's a lot of cool tools out there that will easily help you. There are a lot of tutorials also everywhere to be found. And as soon as it's set up, you will be able to start digging, and it's kind of addictive actually to start to try to get to know what's happening on your website and start learning from it, start playing with it, start testing. So that's really my key takeaway. Sometimes it will do nothing, whatever you test, but sometimes you really get results out of it. So that's what SEO is about. And I don't think you can do SEO without seeing data. And this is really a way of gathering data that's untouched so far for a lot of websites, I think. Hi, I'm Pieter Serraris. This is SEO in 2025 Additional Insights.
Pieter, what's your additional insight for SEO in 2025?
Well, for me, I think this is going much deeper into log file analysis. I know for quite a lot of SEOs, log file analysis is already a thing they're doing, but I don't think they're doing much more than scratching the surface, especially if I look around at agencies in my area, in Europe. I think log file analysis is somewhat of a hidden gem for a lot, a gold mine that's not touched enough. So I know what most SEOs link to log file analysis, and that's very technical, a very technical tool, which of course it is. It is invaluable, especially for bigger websites like e-com, like big international, multinational websites. It's invaluable to see what's happening to your crawl budget, if bots are hitting walls somewhere, if there are a lot of 404s that you cannot find in the traditional SEO tools. It's invaluable. You must do that, especially for bigger websites. But I think there's much more that can be found in these log files. It's really just dig a bit deeper and learn the names of the bots, the user agents that they are using, and you can really find out a lot of information, both for SEO purposes, but now also for the generative engine optimization, for finding out more what's happening in ChatGPT, in Perplexity, etc. Also, these bots will give your log files will give you a lot more information. So you'll be able to see if ChatGPT visited your website, and by seeing which of ChatGPT's bots, because they actually have at least 3 that we know of, you will see what the purpose of its visit was. You have the GPT bot, which actually is just the learning bot, gathering information to add to the large language model to make it smarter. But there's also, for instance, ChatGPT user, and whenever you see a hit from that bot, you know actually that your site was being used as a source, because it's really real-time visits. It's whenever a prompt is given and for which your website is used as a source, and ChatGPT doesn't have enough information in its LLM, in its large language model, to answer the prompt, then the ChatGPT user bot will come visit your website and actually gather more information, more context in order for it to answer the question. So that's really invaluable information that you cannot gather elsewhere for the moment, because ChatGPT doesn't have an analytics tool or whatever that you can use as an SEO or other marketing expert. So it's very, very important that you can find a lot of information, and seeing what these bots are doing is very interesting also. Again, the technical part, gather information if they have troubles, if they hit 404 pages, if they're hallucinating, if they just make up URLs, that also happens. It's also very interesting if that happens, because you can learn from that as well. But also for your content strategy, which URLs from your website are being visited by which bot. You can learn so much from it. You can use this in your content strategy, use it in your interlinking strategy, etc. So really, really a lot you can learn from the log files.
Okay, so log file analysis is hyper relevant in the age of AI. It's been relevant for years to add that to give that additional context in terms of what users do on your site, and how you can use that to actually augment your SEO strategy. But I mean, with regards to where you find your log files, how you talk to your IT department, I guess, to make sure that the correct information is being retained. So how would you go about summarizing how you find your log files, how you have those conversations with the IT departments, and ensuring that the right information is being retained for the right length of time?
Yeah, that's from my experience always a bit of a struggle, a short struggle. But as soon as it's set up, it's okay. But some IT departments have some difficulties with finding the right log files. First of all, it's important that you have the right log files, because you have things like error log files, etc. on your site. That's not relevant for SEO work. What you need is the access log files, and they're on your server, on the server of your website. So they're that's why they're so interesting. They're being gathered on a server level. Who you need to talk to is the person in charge of your server, actually. So most of the time, that's just your IT department who will help you guide the way. If it's a different person, then yeah, just talk to them. Yeah, it always involves some back and forth mailing, because the way you can gather these log files, it depends. It's always different depending on which kind of server you're using. So there's not just one easy mail that I can always send to my clients' IT departments, but we always get there. It's also a question of what you want to do with the log files. For me, most relevant, if you're able to set up an API with your log files and a third-party tool to gather the log files, that's the easiest way. At our agency, we use JetOctopus, which is a very cool tool, which sets up the API for you and then links it to Google Search Console data, to Google Analytics data, etc. But still, yeah, that's the ideal situation where you have an API, because then whenever there's an issue in your log files appearing, then you can immediately get an alert. So that's cool. What you can also ask is for a one-time export of, let's say, at least 3 weeks of data. That's a very big file you will get then. But there are other tools that you can analyze the export. For instance, Screaming Frog has besides the well-known Screaming Frog, you have the Screaming Frog log file analyzer also. So you can import log file data in there. So that's also very interesting. And then it's just a one-time export you ask. It can be a good idea if it's just the first step, getting to know the log files, convincing your clients if you're on an agency side. It might be a good first step. Depending on the type of website you're on, for instance, if you're on a WordPress site, there's also plugins that will actually just do the work for you. We sometimes set up Dark Visitors, which is a WordPress plugin. It's very easy to use, especially if it's not just a WordPress plugin. You can use it in other content management systems as well. But for WordPress, it has just a plug and play setup. So just set it up and you will see the bot visits coming in immediately. You can't learn as much from it as having the entire thing coming into a tool like JetOctopus. But what we have learned from it is quite a lot also. We have it set up for our own website, for instance. And then we see which AI bots are coming in, what Googlebot is doing, which bots are sort of spamming our website unnecessarily. It's a very easy tool to get to know log files. The setup really, to summarize this long answer, the setup really, it depends on what you intend to do with it. The ideal situation for me is that you set up a connection between your log files where it's stored. It gets very technical. You need some sort of bucket, it's called, where your third-party tool can gather it. And that's the ideal situation. But you can also ask for an export or just set up a WordPress plugin, for instance.
So you talked about AI bots visiting sites and being able to view that in log files. What specifically are you looking for within your log files to analyze that? And also, how can you actually piece that together with how your website is performing on the various AI search engines?
Yeah, but what we're mostly looking at, first thing is which bots are visiting. As I mentioned, for instance, if we take the use case of ChatGPT, it's just very interesting to see first for the GPT bot, the sort of the LLM bot, which pages are they using and which aren't they. This already clarifies quite a lot in which either ChatGPT finds interesting information or which information is simply not found. So very interesting use case there is to help this bot find more information. Also, obviously, if you're a publisher, the situation is different. Then you probably will not be so happy that that GPT bot is visiting your website because it's just basically sort of stealing, borrowing your information in order to get smarter. Then a good use case would be just to use the robots.txt file to block this specific bot. What else you can do is, for instance, what we do is looking at the pages that the ChatGPT user bot is visiting, because this shows that these pages are actually being mentioned in ChatGPT. So we think about it, we see this as relevant content. We think about what would the user do if it visits this page. Why is this page mentioned more than others? Is this, for instance, a long read? Is it a very short FAQ page? Again, learning about which type of content is being shown in ChatGPT, which is being used as a source, can also help you out very much, because it just gives you a lot of information for your content strategy as well.
And what about tying this together with your actual performance in the AI search engines?
Actually, learning about your performance in AI engines, for me, it's like a puzzle where you have to gather the pieces yourself, because we don't have a lot of information in one tool where, like in Google Ads, for instance, you see everything. You see your impressions, you see your clicks, and you see what people have done on your website. So you don't have that for instance, ChatGPT. What we do have is a few pieces of the puzzle. We have the log files, which shows like your impressions for a part, not all of them, obviously. Only if the LLMs don't have enough information about your website for a specific prompt, you will see that you're being used as a source. That's one piece of the puzzle. You have brand trackers for AI tools, where you can see if you automatically push prompts into ChatGPT or etc. You will see if you are mentioned, how you are mentioned, and maybe which competitors of yours do better or worse than yourself. So that's sort of another piece of the puzzle. And then you have your Google Analytics data, where you actually see the visitors coming in. These are the three pieces of the puzzle that we link to each other. You can do that in a Looker Studio report, where you see, these pages get, for instance, good impressions because they are mentioned a bit more, because there we rank a bit higher than our competitors on average. So they give us more clicks eventually. But for me, it's actually, I think learning more about the impressions is just so valuable, because the clicks are decreasing. Less people are going to visit your website. So simply learning about how you're being shown, how your website is being used in a very black box tool like ChatGPT or Perplexity is already a lot of information, which you can really use to help steer your, as I mentioned before, your content strategy, but also help these tools fix hallucinations. We've had clients where these tools use a wrong version of the homepage, putting a wrong thing behind the URL. It helped us just adding a redirect from the hallucinated homepage to the right homepage. This helped getting more visibility and getting more clicks to the right homepage. So it's just, as I mentioned, it's a very cool way of learning a lot. But the deeper you go, the more you learn, the more you go into the details. Sometimes it's really going into a one-time visit of a bot and following it around to see what it does. It's very interesting, and you can really learn a lot. And you can sort of communicate with these bots for the first time, with these ChatGPTs. Like, for instance, if you see a lot of visits to a page on your website that doesn't exist, we had it also. There was, I think, GPT bot that visited. We have an SEO page on our agency website. Instead of SEO in the directory, ChatGPT kept visiting a page, search engine optimization, which was a 404 page. So it visited that page for over 1,000 times in 1 week. So we put a redirect from that page to the right SEO page, let's say. And it helped us getting found more, getting more visits by sort of communicating to. But it also helped us understand that the full word that actually ChatGPT was using, the search engine optimization, that it was maybe a keyword or part of a prompt that we needed to mention more instead of only using SEO as an abbreviation. So yeah, a lot of cool use cases to discover.
Pieter, what's the key takeaway from the tip you shared today?
Yeah, key takeaway for me is if you're not yet using log files, if you're not yet analyzing them, make sure you start doing it. Just by starting, it's not that complicated. It looks like a lot. It looks like something only technical SEOs can do, but it's really not. Maybe you'll need some help setting it up at the first time, but there's a lot of cool tools out there that will easily help you. There are a lot of tutorials also everywhere to be found. And as soon as it's set up, you will be able to start digging, and it's kind of addictive actually to start to try to get to know what's happening on your website and start learning from it, start playing with it, start testing. So that's really my key takeaway. Sometimes it will do nothing, whatever you test, but sometimes you really get results out of it. So that's what SEO is about. And I don't think you can do SEO without seeing data. And this is really a way of gathering data that's untouched so far for a lot of websites, I think.
Pieter Serraris is the SEO lead at OM Collective, and you can find him over at omcollective.com. Pieter, thanks so much for adding your additional insight to SEO in 2025.
You're welcome.
I've been your host, David Bain, and you've been listening to SEO in 2025 Additional Insights, a Majestic series that complements the original podcast, video series, and book. Find out more at SEOin2025.com.